Producers, music makers, welcome to FL Remix. In today's video we're gonna be looking at the top 10 free plugins you can get for FL Studio. Let's jump right into it. So the first plugin we're gonna be looking at is Vital. And Vital is a cool synthesizer that kinda looks like Serum, but it's totally free and it looks like this. And it comes with these free oscillators where you can adjust the wavetables. You can create a lot of cool sounds. So if we just listen to a sound here, sounds like this. This is the unit preset, and just as in Serum, you can shape the sound with the decay, sustain, release, and attack up here. So we can make it shorter. We can make it very, very long. Just the release. So you can shape it here. You can also use this LFO to create some cool effects with some of the knobs here. You can also turn on some white noise, so it sounds like this, and in here you can change the effects. You can put on reverb, tweak it up here, flanger, EQ, distortion. A lot of cool things you can do to make some really cool sounds. And here you can adjust these. So a very great plugin for free. I'll put a link to it in the description so you can find it and get a copy of it, because I'm not sure if it will be free for you. I hope so. It's a great plugin. I don't really understand why it's free. You can also purchase it, but I don't know why you would do that when you could get a free version. I don't know what the full version does in relation to the free version here. So yeah. Go grab a copy of Vital especially if you're a new producer and you want to get into sound designing. The second plugin on my list is the Labs plugin, and this plugin is magnificent for acoustic, but also strings and pianos. It comes with this absolutely beautiful soft piano that I really love using. Sounds like this. You can tweak some different parameters in here. They have a huge library of free sounds that you can download to it as well, and they keep expanding their sounds, so go grab a copy of that. It's by Spitfire Audio. I will put a link in the description to it so you can find the website to get it. But a really great plugin I love using. It comes with pianos, vocals, you can hear these chords, comes with violins as well, really ambient violins, cellos, lots of cool sounds. So yeah, go check that out. So the next plugin is by Native Instruments, and it's the KONTAK 7 or the KONTAK player. And the reason I like this is because you can download free high quality sounds for this kind of library collector, so to speak. I especially like this Analog Dreams, and if you double click on it, you can see out here I have the Analog Dreams and the Analog Dreams 2.0, and I can double click on these, just load, and it will take me to this where I can combine two sounds, the A and B sound. Sounds like this. Really cool sounds, a lot of presets that you can go through up here. This was the alert riser. You can also get the bubble. Again, really cool sound. You can also expand this and look for leads. Flux. Again, a lot of cool sounds. And if I go out here, you can see I've also downloaded this Yankin, which I can also double click on. Just load up in a sec. And this is really cool. I think it's a Japanese instrument that sounds like this. Really cool. Kind of one-to-one instruments, so you can get very realistic instruments, but you can also get these cool samples that sounds like old school synthesizers. It also comes with this Play Series collection. For instance, I had these Ethereal Earth pad sounds. So there's a lot of cool sounds in this that I will recommend you have a look on. I'll put a link to it in the description so you can find it. Right, so the next plugin is in the effects section of the plugins, and the first one I want to highlight is the Valhalla Supermassive. And this is a great delay and reverb plugin that can create really cool sounds. So if I just play the sound without any effects on, it sounds like this. And when I put the Valhalla Supermassive on, it sounds like this. And down in the presets tab here, you can find cool reverbs and cool delays. And these presets can really change up your sound and can create very cool ambient sounds, like this one. So yeah, go grab a copy of Valhalla Supermassive. I'll put a link to it in the description as well, so you can find where to download it. Next on the list we have the Raum plugin, which is a reverb plugin. And this is just a very nice reverb plugin that can create these long tails for your leads and whatever you want to put reverb on. And it's very simple. You can control the mix and the reverb amount. And if I turn it on, it sounds like this. You can really hear how kind of expanded the sound gets. And you can also tweak the low chord and the high chord of the reverb. And it only affects the reverb, you know, the tail. So if you don't want the high frequencies, you can turn this down. And if you want to remove some of the low frequencies, you can turn this up. It also has this really cool freezing effect where if you play it and you press it, it kind of holds the reverb, and you can use that for recording the reverb tail and create cool ambient effects. It also comes with these modulation and damp and decay, diffusion and size knobs here, which also does crazy things. This kind of gives it a detune effect. The damping kind of puts a filter onto the modulation. The decay just makes this continue for a very long time. And the diffusion kind of expands the reverb in your ears, and you can also determine the size of the diffusion. Over here you have some pre-delay and the feedback. And you can also press this knob here and tweak the tempo of the feedback. A very cool plugin. You can also click on these arrows here and then come into this cosmic section here, which has some other effects, and it also has the grounded one here, which creates different sounds. And up here you can find different presets for different reverbs. So yeah, again, put a link to it in the description. A great plugin for reverb. So the next plugin we have is by Tokyo Dawn Labs, and it's the TDR Nova, which is a equalizer and compressor. It's for free, of course, and in my opinion it's just insane that this plugin is free because it has a lot of great features. So if I just start playing the sound, you'll see that nothing happens here, and that's because you have to press the in signal here. So now I can see the frequencies that are present when playing that specific sound. And down here you have the different bands. You have 4 bands. It's a 4-band equalizer, and you have the input here that you can also tweak. And down here you have the different bands. You can disable them or enable them here, and you can move them by clicking and dragging, or you can move them down here by changing the frequency left to right, the gain up and down, and then the Q icon here, which kind of determines the sharpness of the peak you're doing. You can also change the different shapes of these by clicking these. So when I play the sound now, you can of course boost or remove frequencies like a normal equalizer. But the cool thing is that when you press the threshold button down here, you can start to compress the sound whenever the sound is being played, whenever it plays a note. So you will see now when I play the note and I tweak the threshold, that it starts to compress live, so to say. You can also adjust the ratio. Which is a really great feature if you have a sound where some of your frequencies are clashing, but you still want them to be present because they kind of determine the sound that you want. So that's a really great feature. It also comes with different presets up here. And lastly, you can click on these and you can solo them so they are isolated. And again, just a really high quality plugin for FL Studio that I recommend you get. I'll put a link in the description. Next up is the DJM Filter by Expert Records. And this plugin kind of mimics the filter that you get on DJ decks, especially the Nexus 2000. And I really love this plugin for creating build-ups because it's just a low-pass, high-pass filter. So what I usually do is I put down the resonance, and then if I play the sound, you can hear how it works. Just creates this really nice and deep low pass filter that I just really love. The reason I put the resonance down is because when you reach the high pass part of the effect, the resonance will kind of create some very harsh frequencies in your ears that might hurt. So that's why I always take this down. Yes, another great plugin. Lastly, I have two different plugins, and that's because they kind of do the same thing. The first one is the TAL Filter, and what the TAL Filter does is that you have your sound coming in here, and then the sound through this signal here. And you can choose to pan it left to right. You can choose to increase and decrease the volume, and you can make different filters. I usually use the volume, but we'll go through the pan and the volume. Here you can change the speed of the effect. You can see this signal being sent here. If I press 8, it will go a bit faster. And here you can kind of make it dotted or tripled if you have a track where that's necessary. So let's try and play this weird sound I just made. And if I put the TAL filter on, I usually shape it like this, like a sine wave. Now when I play it, it will pan it left to right. Change the speed. And again, you can change the volume. And down here you can kind of offset the where in the signal that it's being enabled, and you can change the depth. So right now it will only play in between where this yellow square is. So it'll kind of cut off these bits down here. And you can make it stereo, so kind of offset the signals in the left and the right ear. You can also go up here and find different presets for filters and volume and panning. A really cool plugin. The next one that is kind of similar is the Flux Mini 2, where you also have the input and the output of the signal, and you have this one that can shape it. It's a little bit different. This one I usually use this to create kind of a gating effect, because you can change this graph more drastically than the other one, because you can put in different points on this graph, whereas the other is more curved. So yeah, kind of the same thing actually. You can change the speed, mix, resonance, and the cutoff. And this one also has different presets. So yeah, a really cool plugin as well, and I'll put a link to both of them in the description. So the next plugin I have on the list is the Fin Micro by DJM, and this is a really great plugin just to create some very fast effects where you don't have to tweak everything. So it's just like a big template you put on top of whatever you want to change. So in this case I've chosen a vocal, and the vocal sounds like this without the effect. If we enable the Fin Micro, you can see down here you have the mode. At the moment it's on infinity. Up here you can change how much of the effect that is applied to the vocal. So right now it's around 50%. And then you have an input and output signal in case you want to tweak those parameters. So if I play it now, it sounds like this. So the infinity mode makes this high pitch delay effect in your ears, which sounds really cool in my opinion. If I move this, you can see I have the space grinder, sounds like this, which is also kind of a delay effect. You can also go up here to distortion, which is a distortion. A really cool effect that I use a lot of on vocal chops. And yeah, there's a lot of these, which is very cool. So a fast forward but very good quality effects that you can quickly put on. And you can see if I go to the first effect here, the infinity, and I put it to max, it might get a bit too much, but you can create really cool effects. You can, for instance, record this and create some ambience. And so the last plugin I want to highlight is actually not a free plugin in the case that it's not a plugin. It's actually a free bundle. And this bundle is great for people who are just getting into music production. And it consists of 30 different plugins. And it's this one, or not this specific one, but it's made by Kilohearts, and if I go to my effects here, you can see all the KHS Kilohertz are the ones that I have gotten here. I have delays, dual delays, resonators, reverbs. I even have compressors, and it's just a great way to get a lot of those plugins that you might need. For instance, I haven't bought the flstudio with the full plugin. So for instance, I don't have this transient processor by them, but the transient processor comes with this bundle, this one, which is one I really like to highlight these first frequencies in a sound. So for instance, in this case with the kick, it kind of enhances the tick in the beginning, and you can also decrease the mid and increase the sustain of the sounds, or decrease it, so you can get these really nice tick sounds. There's a lot of cool things in this bundle as well. You can see I have distortion here, which is also very cool, and I can also show you dual delay here, where you can see inputs from both sides, and you can kind of change the speed to get these cool effects in your ears. So yeah guys, that is it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'll put a link in the description of all the free plugins for you to start using. So have a good day and peace.